Yo guys, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and today we're going to train 45 minutes of chess training. Welcome Josh, and welcome to Space Lee, or Space Lee. Somehow you've missed the S. Oh, it's just my phone. Yeah, I don't know why my phone is saying Space Lee instead of Space Lee. But yeah, welcome Sarah. How's it going? So yeah, first of all, Josh, fantastic that you've done a chapter of Turetsky. Good man, good man. And yeah, I saw Sapsara today. You played him a blitz, so congrats on the strong performance. And yeah, actually, like going into the final few rounds, like yeah, if you could squeeze past those like top dogs, then could have had an incredible event. So actually, I mean, yeah, like had the event finished like 3 rounds early or something, you would have been right at the top. So yeah, really fantastic result. You won against the 2100 too. Who was the 2100 who you managed to beat? Great result. I can check the live games. I didn't realize it was live games. You played with Rapid. I didn't know that the Rapid was also taking place. Let me have a quick look at this. Today we're actually gonna do the calculation training. We're gonna do the Argard calculation. I keep delaying it, and I need to just do it. I mean, I had like so many different ideas for this stream, and I was just like, nah, man, let's just do it. So where is the Rapid? Rapid under 16, I guess. Oh, what? It's not finished? I'm so confused. Is this not the event? Oh, okay. I didn't. I wasn't looking at Sasara's name. It was too high up. Oh, that's funny. Oh, you're playing Kenneth Hobson? Good luck. Good luck. Oh, you beat Jack Leal? Sick. That's a sick result. He's the guy I beat in the Rook and Bishop versus Rook endgame, which I grinded him out. But yeah, he's a strong player, and he's probably even stronger now. So, such on Leech's broadcast. Okay, let's have a very quick look before we gotta celebrate this win, right? This is a huge one. Rapid under 16. Surely it's not still going now, right? It's gonna continue tomorrow or something. Let's have a look. Oh, did we have an Alakine? Can I just say I'm the best chess coach ever? Can I just say I'm the best chess coach ever? Holy crap. Recommend Sapsara to play the Alakine. Bro beats a 2050, and you go with E takes D6. Can respect. Let's actually go G6 here. Okay. Yeah, I mean basically there's this tactic, right? You can't really take because of this capture. So pretty sound stuff. Okay, +1, we don't care. And we get some pressure on d4. This is going to be interesting. Wow, so can you not take on d4 already, actually? Is this not a move? Yeah, I guess the problem with this is that they can take with a knight and only now pin the bishop to the queen. That's the problem. Because here, I mean, you've got this move to bail out. But maybe that's the problem. So bishop e6, holding everything together. Nice dynamic b5, love to see. Oh, c6, hello. Damn, and that's a nice knight on f5. I'm definitely taking black here. Wow, and then we get these pass pawns. Oh my days. But what is this king march? What is this king march? Was this completely necessary? At this moment? Like, can we not just start pushing and win the game? Oh, if we push, we get hit by this. I see. So how would I deal with this? It's a little bit awkward, but can we play this move and then start pushing the pawn? Surely this is the cleanest way to do it. Let's see. Surely bishop d4. No bishop d4. Okay, it is a move. It's not completely ridiculous. And king f7 is actually stronger? My god. That's wild. So king f7. Yo, and king e6 is even being suggested. Like, not here, but here? King e6 is being suggested? Get out of town. King d5? Bruh. Oh, it's just a fork. It's just a fork. I didn't even pick up on that. Okay, fair enough. Damn. Yo, your king is looking so weak. Oh my god, I would be... My blood pressure, man, would... I'd probably have, like, some seizure. Like, your king is literally on a dark sky, Sapsara, saved by this insane knight on e6. This is crazy. This is actually crazy. And then you manage to get the queen. And you manage to force the resignation because mate in 2. Wow, what a game. What a crazy game. Aha, stream right after getting off work. Best way to start the weekend. Okay, glad to hear it, Cecily. Sorry for not reading your comment earlier. Wow. Was winning against Nina Pert and through? Aha. Check the game before, it's crazy. So sorry, I will check the games later. But fantastic result. And actually, okay, you can finish on a real high. Like, you've literally got nothing to lose. These guys are like gonna be terrified. The only problem is if you keep winning, you're gonna have to play Stanley. But okay, I've drawn against Stanley in Rapid, and I had a winning position against him. So you know it's doable. It's doable. Damn, big win. Big win. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so for today, I wanted to check out this excelling at chess calculation, and we're gonna take a look at this chapter 3. Was this? Oh no, we need chapter 2 first. Actually, I think. Candidate moves. No, we did candidate moves, I think. Or did we? No, I think we looked at this chapter 1 and basically didn't learn too much, and it was basically like preparing us for chapter 2, right? I think it's this way around. I think it's time to do this. So okay, let's open up our study of our study. We had a excelling at chess calculation, right? There we go. Oh, what? I don't remember this. But okay, let's okay. So this is, I guess this is now chapter 2. So let's go from chapter 2. If it feels very familiar, then maybe we've done it already. But I'm pretty sure we haven't. Aha, you have that book. How much have you looked into it, Sapsara? Very curious there. But yeah, let's go through this. So candidate moves, chapter 2. I'll also move myself. Actually, no, I can stay down here. We're not using the actual boards. We're gonna be on Lichess, so it's fine. Okay, so we've already briefly touched upon the subject in a previous chapter. Now we'll go deeper into aspects of the selection of candidate moves. Kotter was the first to introduce. Yada yada. Okay, in this book we should talk about candidates, which covers candidate moves and candidate ideas. Kotov wrote that he wanted to teach chess players to think like machines, but it can be easily stated that we do not really think in moves like a machine. Thinking ideas, moves are just moves, but ideas are pockets that make sense. Following example illustrates this. So I'm gonna copy this game. Try not to look at the answer, so everyone don't look at the answer. I'm gonna open this up now. Copy position, close, and let's open this up on Lichess. Okay, so this is white to play. So let's have a think for like a couple minutes and then decide what we're gonna play. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look in a bit, Sasara. But okay, let's try and solve this. I think I've got the answer. And the annoying thing is I really haven't made use of my candidate moves. I basically just looked at one move and I just don't see why it doesn't win. So maybe I'm missing something. Oh, maybe there's something better than the move I'm looking at, because it might not be like winning, 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 but it looks pretty good. It's okay. Are there any other candidates that I need to consider here? Man, I'm also in like quite a distracted mood for some reason. Like too many too many things on my plate, so it's difficult to just knuckle down and calculate. I think this is also another objective of mine going into my summer tournaments, is that I hope when my tournaments start, I'm going to be able to think about nothing else but the chess. Like, just not to have anything else that I need to worry about and deal with. That will help a lot. I don't know, I'm happy with my move, so let's see. Yeah, so knight f5 is my answer. I also didn't really find any other candidate moves that really did me a lot of good. I mean, for me, I feel like this knight f5, I might not even be winning any material, but I might just be simply improving my position. Like, I might lose the piece, but I basically win back the piece somehow, and basically black will just have this worse pawn structure. Also, welcome Frizz, and welcome Gloin to the stream. Actually, Frizz, I haven't had a chance to check out your Lichess message properly. Just been completely busy today, and I really want to give it a proper read, so it might take a day or two for me to get back to you on it. But yeah, very, very excited to delve into that. But yeah, so let me give my analysis of knight f5. So knight f5, okay, the first thing you need to calculate is what happens if they take it. So if they take my knight on f5, then my plan is to take the queen on e7. This pretty much forces rook takes e7 back, otherwise you're queen down. And then my idea was to play bishop takes b7. And if rook takes b7, then I can go down rook d8 check, which would force knight e8 due to back rank problems. And then I could go rook takes c8, and I'd actually be picking up a whole rook for the knight. So this would be an exchange up. But then I realized actually after knight f5, pawn takes f5, queen takes e7, rook takes e7, bishop takes b7, black can simply play rook c to e8 and just give back the piece, double on the e-file. But to me, I felt very happy about that position because black's basically got these doubled f-pawns, their majority is no longer as effective. I still have a majority on the queen side, I keep the bishop, and given there are pawns on both sides of the board, this is pretty good. So, on the whole, feel pretty happy with that assessment. And knight f5, you've also got to consider what happens if they don't take the knight. So the problem with queen e8 is there's knight d6, which is a fork, and on queen f8, still knight d6, and the point is you're actually forking the rook and the bishop. So this is also like looks really promising and probably winning. So knight f5 just looks really clean to me. No woodpecker today, new thing, yes. So I wanted to finally get around to looking at some more of this Argard book, and yeah, we're on chapter 2, this candidate moves. So basically this introductory exercise is basically Argard saying that humans don't think like machines, we think in terms of ideas, and the following example illustrates this. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens. Maybe knight f5 is the human move and there's actually some engine move that's even stronger. So let's have a look. Okay, so let's check the solution. Okay, so many candidates, let's flip the board. Many candidates can be selected for white in this position, but the move knight f5 would not make sense unless you see the idea behind the knight sacrifice. Most experienced players would spot the idea of sacrificing the knight first, and only afterwards find the reasoning behind it. Abstract ideas like overloading the weakness of the back rank would not matter, but a quick scan over all possible meaning moves would pick up on the knight sacrifice immediately, and the consequences of it would soon become apparent. And once these consequences are clear, it is hard to imagine about why we play any other move, so probably Karpov played it rather quickly and focuses energy on the resulting endgame. So I think what Argard is pointing out is that in a position like this, maybe candidate moves are not necessary. You kind of see knight f5 jump out at you, you then calculate it, and then you just play it. I think that's what Argard is saying. Yeah, Indy Southcott Moyers. I had the displeasure of having to play Indy back when he was 1700, and he gave me such a good game. I managed to win it, but like I had to take a huge gamble where I was either going to win or lose, and I was lucky that I was winning. But he was a crazy strong player, and then I basically played him many years later, like 2-3 years later, in Serbia, and I managed to get a draw against him. But this time he was the one who outrated me by like 300 points. Yeah, he's 2200 FIDE. So yeah, strong guy. But I can also see your style, Sefsara, working against him. Like he really likes to have control over the position, and if you just create a mess, which you do, then yeah, probably works. Show you round 5. I need to train Sefsara, so maybe we'll see. But yeah, this was the line. Bishop takes. Oh, why would you ever play rook f8, not rook e8? Why would you not play rook e8? There's no way rook f8 is better than rook e8. Well, what is rook f8? Oh, rook f8 is better? Because, I mean, you know what? I even saw this bishop c6. I just didn't think anything of it. I just thought rook e8. Oh no, my computer's gonna crash if I do this. Okay, let's chance it anyway. I was thinking of this check, but king g2 is apparently good. Okay, fair enough. King g2 is apparently good, and this is like a worse version. I guess maybe you have to trade a pair of rooks, which maybe isn't in your favor. As the side who's like slightly worse and needs some more dynamic compensation and counterplay. So yeah, rook f8, what a miserable move. Bishop a6, the tactics are now over. White has a clear advantage. With his last move, white keeps control of the c-file and the approaching square for the c-pawn. Strong bishop versus knight, active rooks, extra pawn on the queen side, no problems. Easy conversion for Karpov. Fair enough. Okay, cool. So you can argue that the solution is a candidate move, but also, and just as important, that it is part of a candidate idea. Of course, you can also argue that moves make no sense without the exchange of queens and the potential for a back rank mate, but in many situations you can have a move that carries more than one idea. In that case, we can really talk about candidate ideas. Aha, so it's like, rather than just have candidate moves that almost limits a move to a certain idea, you can basically say, I'm going to have candidate ideas. So maybe you only have 3 candidate moves, but you have 5 candidate ideas, because one candidate move can have multiple candidate ideas. Okay, that makes sense. I remember reading this as a kid and not understanding this point very well at all. I was just like, isn't it the same thing? But okay, that makes sense. So okay, let's get this position. So white's strongest combination. No one look at the answer. Copy position, and let's white's strongest idea. Let's have a look. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so what is white's strongest idea? White to play. It's so tempting just to calculate this very forcing line. But maybe we should just leave it as a candidate idea for now. And maybe that's the point, right? Maybe rook f8 has multiple candidate ideas, right? You don't have to play queen f6 as a follow-up. Maybe you can play something else, queen a8 or something. right? You've got multiple candidate ideas. And do you have any other candidate moves in this position? Maybe queen a8 at the beginning. Oh wait, queen a8 looks really strong, but okay, let's just keep it as a candidate idea for now. Any final moves? So our rook is being attacked. What else can we do? I guess there are some safe-ish moves like rook f6 or rook f4. Maybe rook f4 makes some sense. We are a pawn up in this position, so rook f4 could definitely make some sense. Okay, so rook f4 is a bailing out. We've got rook f8 with two candidate ideas and queen a8 with its own candidate move. So let's look at rook f8 first. Rook f8, king g7. If queen f6, the most forcing move, king h6. What now? Maybe rook f8, king g7, queen f6, king h6, f4? To try and play for queen h4, but that doesn't really work because there's queen g4 check. I feel like I'm at a dead end, to be honest. Because I feel like after rook f8, king g7, queen f6, king h6, there's never time for any kind of like slow move because black's about to play queen g4, and at the very least has a perpetual. I would believe that they have a perpetual. Maybe I should actually be concrete. Maybe I should be concrete, right? Rook f8, king g7, queen f6, king h6. Let's say I just played like rook f7, threatening some business with queen g7. If they actually go queen g4, I can just go king h1. Maybe there's no follow-up there. So maybe they need to go rook g4 instead. Maybe rook g4 is more flexible. But then I can go king f1. This is actually working somehow. So let's imagine for a second that we get this, and we go rook f7. If we had another move here, are we winning? Does queen g7 win? So queen g7, king g5? Probably doesn't win, right? Yeah, this rook f7 might not be enough. So do we have a better, like, kind of threat we can play here? Or is there just nothing? Like maybe, but h4 can be defended. This g5 square can be defended very easily. Okay, so let's try a different candidate idea. Let's try this one. Does this work or not? I can't believe it's so crazy that when I probably had like the IQ of like a fish back in school. Like I literally couldn't understand this concept of candidate ideas, and it makes so much sense. Like, how can you not understand it? It's like probably my reading comprehension was like, I don't know, the age of 8 or something. When I was like a 16-year-old. Genuinely baffled how I can understand this concept of candidate ideas. So it's a rook f8, king g7, queen a8. What am I threatening here? If I get a whole another move, rook g8 check, king h6, queen f8 check. Maybe king h5. Maybe there's not a clear follow-up there. It feels kind of wrong. It feels kind of wrong, to be honest. Like, it feels like if I want to play this plan, I want to start with queen a8 because, you know, if king g7, I've got this mate, right? So I'm going to quickly shortcut to this line. And this kind of forces queen d8. So is there something here? Is there something here? Now, I did read like the first few sentences of Frizz's comment to me, and he made an interesting point how I'm like generally quite a positive guy, but when it comes to tactics, I'm so negative. And I was about to go on my rant again about how the fact that I don't want to play these positions, because even though I can see some ideas and calculate, it's like why take the risk of making a mistake here? Like if there's only one way to continue, like it's just so high pressure. It's just so unnecessary to give yourself such a high pressure position. But yeah, maybe it can't be avoided. Maybe it's good to just get good at this stuff. But I think there are ways you can basically push the position into having less tactics, which just makes so much sense. It's like, you know, you can put a gamble on something, make a bet on something, and potentially win a lot. But it's like, if you can gamble less, that's better than gambling more, right? Like, yeah, probably being good at gambling is a good trait, but still you'd prefer to gamble less than gamble more. That's still my central philosophy, and it's done me well. I think it's done me really well. I mean, I've actually been like in a place where I've been calculating and playing lots of tactical games. It's really not my strong suit. I mean, Frizz, if you like, I can actually read your message on stream, and we can actually see if then, like, after reading it, I can apply it to this position and solve this tactic any better. But I don't know if like that comment is somewhat personal and wouldn't want to be shared on stream. So it's up to you. I would also need to consider: do I want this advice on stream and have my live reaction to how I'm interpreting it? But yeah. I think Josh found it. Okay, I'm not gonna check chat anymore then. I'm gonna try and come to a conclusion and then see what I'm gonna play. So have I looked at all of my candidate ideas? I think my final candidate idea was just rook f4 and just be like, sod it. Like none of this is working. I honestly, the temptation to play rook f4 is like huge. Like out of all of these moves that I'm looking at, rook f4 makes the most sense because my king is weak. I have a pawn up. Like, why am I taking these stupid risks? I just play rook f4. If I play rook f4 and they trade, rook takes, queen takes, they take on d3, I can go queen c4, check, pick up the pawn. I'm a pawn up at endgame, happy. Rook f4, if they take on d3, I guess I can also play rook f8, check, king g7, then rook f4. If the king being on g7 makes a difference. I don't know. I'll need to work that out later. But if rook f4 and they take on d3, then I can take on d4. Queen takes d4 is forced. And again, I can take on d3 and be a pawn up. Why am I not playing rook f4? The only difference now I am considering is if I want to throw in rook f8 first, but why would I improve the king? I actually felt like the king was a bit vulnerable on g8. Like there was some like queen c4 check ideas. So honestly, in a game, I'm playing rook f4. That's my answer. That's my answer, rook f4. So let's see what people are saying. So fun. Okay, let's see all of this. Let's see all of this. So queen a8 stands out for Frizz. Queen a8 from Safsara. Queen a8 from Learn Laugh Daily. Rook. What do you mean rook f3? Rook f8 final answer from Frizz. Rook f4 final, and then Safsara says, I'm joking. That's wild because rook f4 is actually my final answer. Rook f8, king g7. Rook b8. Oh, wow. Rook f8, king g7, rook b8. That's a cool idea. To go after those pawns. Huh. Oh, and you even threaten rook b7. Oh, that's a very cool idea. Wow. With the king so exposed on the dark squares, like when you play rook f8, you're not looking in that direction. But this is actually such a nice geometry. Sick. Aha, and Safsara is saying actually, let's calculate this rather than just dismiss it and play rook b5. Ah, very cool idea as well. Very cool idea. I mean, all of these ideas I am really, really liking. I didn't get close to seeing them though. I don't know. I should just calculate this move, right? And just evaluate that final position and say, hey, what's up in this position? Rook b5, nice, really nice spot. Maybe that's even better. Yeah, gonna be really interesting to see see what Argard has to say. So the thing is, if you play double-edged positions, you do take a risk. So does your opponent, right? That is very true. But the thing is, if your opponent is better intrinsically at the double-edged positions than you, then you are basically taking more risk by entering these positions. It's like, let's say you're playing like some bet where 60% of the time you're going to win and 60% of the time that you're going to lose and 40% of the time you're going to win. Yeah, it's completely double-edged and it could be anyone's game, but ultimately your odds are slightly worse because it's not your strength. If you want, no, it's not really personal. Okay, maybe I'll check it out on stream if I'm feeling it. I think after rook f8, king g7, rook b8, queen g4, check, queen takes g4, rook takes g4, king f1. I think we are winning that endgame. Damn, we've even got a proper evaluation. That's wild. That's wild. At the same time, guys, has anyone refuted my rook f4 move? Rook f4, rook takes, queen takes on d3 and just play queen c4 check. How is rook f4 not even simpler? I understand like your moves are really cool and flashy, but why is rook f4 not the answer? Josh Pim, you watching too? I have no idea what Satoya is saying, and welcome to the stream, Satoya. Yeah, but endgame is easily winning? Are you guys kidding me? How are you guys seeing this? Check, king, rook here, queen g4, takes, king f1, and this is easily winning. Easily winning. So what? We're gonna, take on b4? And I guess the point is the pawn is pinned, right? Yeah, there's no clever like c3 or takes. So in that position... Wow, that's wild. That's actually such a sick line. That's such a cool line. Oh my god. Wow. King f1. Oh wait, no, it's black's turn to move. My bad. It's black's turn to move in this position. So then it's not completely winning to me. Not at all. You know what, guys? I'm sticking to my rook f4. I'm sticking to my rook f4. Yeah, you have the risk of the position and you have the risk of the players. And from my personal experience, having tried out this style of chess for me, and having put in hours and hours into like calculation training, so I was much stronger of a calculator at some point in my career, it really isn't for me. Really isn't for me. I think rook f4 is bad because with queens on, black has much more drawing chances. Maybe objectively speaking, but I would say the queens have as much chance of winning as the rooks. Like, I don't really think there's a difference. Let's find out what Argad has to say. I'm super interested. Okay, so let me drink some water. What is White's strongest continuation? Black's had an off day and has ended up a pawn down with only a little counterplay. White should now try to find the best way to neutralize Black's counterplay. To do so, he will need to start selecting possible moves. So interesting that White's ambition is to neutralize Black's counterplay, not to try and go for the throat in this position. Queen 8 obviously forces Queen d8, after which White seems to have a little choice but to exchange queens. This is certainly one candidate. Note that Queen 8 is connected to a few force moves, and hence there is little point about talking about a candidate move, but more of a candidate idea. For the sake of simplicity, I will just use the expression candidates, since for the practical player there's no difference. Okay, so Queen 8, one Queen 8. Alternative is one Rook f8. Black is only one legal move, King g7, but then Queen f6, King h6 does not seem to advance White's agenda. My opponent thought for some time and came up with the wrong solution. So Argad was actually black here. Interesting. So let's actually have a look what is said. Queen e8 was played. Interesting. There are of course many ways to solve the initial position. In the game, the critical position after Queen e8, Queen d8, Queen takes, Rook f3. Aha, I think the Safsar actually maybe mentioned this Rook f3. When the opponent's counter chances should be taken into consideration, But first we should do our job of selecting candidates for calculation, as this saves us time compared to analyzing deeply first. Rook f8 and better idea with rook b8. Awesome. How strong is this Breda guy? Because Josh, you found this solution. Really, really nice. I realize the bottom of the board is cut off. I don't know how much of a disturbance this is to you guys. If you don't care, I'll just keep going. If it's really annoying you guys, then I'll make an edit. But yeah, this move escaped my opponent's attention completely. He only calculated the tempting queen f6, but didn't see any purpose to it. Had he taken the time to look for other possibilities, I'm sure he would have found rook b8. Yeah, so this is this whole candidate's ideas concept. And I thought I'd got the candidate's idea by looking at queen f6 and queen a8, but in fact rook b8 is also good. And probably in the starting position, I should have tried to evaluate the position a bit more. Understood that these pawns are potentially weaknesses. So that would have probably helped. So queen f6, oh yeah, so rook b8, queen g4, rook g4, king f1. We now have two candidates which can be calculated, but actually we do not need to. It is obvious that white is worse off in the passive rook, with a passive rook on f3 in the queen a8 line. So he's basically saying that this position can be deemed better than this position. So on that basis, yeah, this position has to be better than the other one. This kind of comparison can often save us time in evaluation calculation, no matter whether white is winning or not. It is obvious that the second line is preferable to the first, and for the practical player, that is all the information required. Actually, white is probably going to win without too much difficulty. But alas, the game went to queen d8, and rook f3. And here, b3. I'm not sure if white had overlooked this move, he probably did. Just another reason why he should have focused on the starting position and found a solution to the problem. Interesting. So let me copy this game and put it onto Licha so I can use an engine. So funnily enough, Arga doesn't mention my rook f4 move at all. So let's see the difference in lines. Can I stick a middle finger up? Like, I swear to God, I want. Oh no, rook f8 is now top move. Oh man, but rook f4 is second best. You see, rook f4 took me like -1 brain cells to calculate and be happy with. And rook f8 is correct. Let's even see if rook f8 is even stronger. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, and firstly this line is completely fine with queen c4. So I'm really glad I calculated this line properly. And cd4. Yeah, I think I was looking at this rook d4 and basically claiming that this position is decent. Although to be fair, I don't think I looked at this properly. Maybe I should have calculated this better. This cd3. I mean, I'm pretty sure I looked at this move. I think this was my answer. And I was just very, very happy with this position, but actually this is some compensation, right? But maybe the point is I've got this pawn. So maybe if I soar up to here, then I can justify this position. Yeah, and I don't think this position is so easily drawn either. Like we've got this passed pawn. His king is exposed as well. Definitely a game to be played. Depth 23 is pretty low though. Okay, that's fair enough. The hair when flying? I don't know what you mean by that, but okay. Sapsara, I'm not gonna check your game. We are in the middle of training. Like I said, I will check it later already. So let's focus on this. So yeah, in the attempt to try and play something more, more forcing and double-edged and dynamic as opposed to the simple rook f4, we actually play a worse move. So I find that really interesting. And I find it interesting that Arga doesn't even respect rook f4 enough to even mention it. But okay, let's see this rook f8. So king g7, rook b8, queen g4, takes. Yeah, okay. So I'm also glad that my evaluation of this as not being easily winning is also correct. Like it's not a simple matter at all, I think. But yeah, cd3. You have a pawn up, but there's a game to be played. Like, you've still got these weak pawns. Interesting that this is a line. So king g2, and then black gets an a5 in time. And you're somehow not able to pick up these pawns, rook h5. And you're somehow keeping an active rook on h2 to limit the opponent's king, protecting this backwards pawn. And the king is actually going to get quite active here. Like it can at least like help blockade this pawn. So it's not going to be easy to convert this. Okay. I'm happy with my solution as well. But I have to say that Josh's move was cool. This rook b8 idea. I'm not sure if White had overlooked this move. He probably did, which is just another reason why he should have focused on the starting position. Okay, yeah, we read that already. And here, cb3. c3 is worth considering, although after a5, yeah, this looks very scary for White. I'd prefer black here. Black should have sufficient counterplay. Right. So cb3 was chosen. And rook d4. Damn. So basically keeping a very active rook. Black starts to activate their king. But it's simply not enough. And I guess there's just no way to continue this. I mean, White's a pawn up, but just not enough to get anything out of a position. Very interesting. Okay. The queens of the draw chance is very high. Much more perpetuals or hanging pawns. I actually disagree. I mean, I think both positions, the rook and the queen, at our level, it's really anyone's game. I really believe that this is anyone's game. This CD3 line, like, this is absolutely anyone's game. I mean, Frizz, I would be happy to play you right now, and I will take the white pieces, and I feel like I'd be able to like grind you out. If you want to play, I can literally send you a challenge of this position. I mean, if this is the position you want to play, like maybe you'd argue that there was a position earlier where you could have avoided this somehow. So what? Rook f4. CD3 was the best option. Rook d4 was what I was calculating. And this is the position. So okay, maybe you would argue that a5 is a slightly better move. Okay, I can play both. I really don't care. So let's go with a5 and let's play this position. This is apparently high chance of a draw with perpetuals. Okay, let's go. I reckon I can grind this. I don't think it's gonna be so easy to draw. Bet. Play versus friend. Okay. I will take white. Oh, do we want 3+2? Yeah, 3+2. Fine. Let's no shack. Can I spell French? I can't spell French. Alright, let's go. Oh, this is rated? Why is this rated? This can't be rated. Oh, it's casual. Okay, good. I was gonna say like how can custom positions be rated? But okay, so Queen E2, defend everything. Frizz to play. Like with the pawn up, this is no way like so easily a draw. Let's go. Hmm. Got some different ideas. Just need to weigh up what do I want to go for. Let's go with this. It's very important when you're playing these endgames that you have a scheme. Like, you're not just playing move by move, but you're actually working out what's the plan to try and convert this position. Honestly, like playing this right now, I feel like the queen and the extra pawn can bully the opponent so much more easily than playing the rook endgame. Because I feel like basically black can never trade. And it's much easier to like threaten trades with the queen than it is with the rook. Now here comes Frizz's perpetual idea that he was raving about. I think we can do this. I think we can do this. Establish this strong pawn. Probably we want to get active with our king now. I don't want to allow those pawns to be so strong, but at the same time, I didn't want to give Frizz that check. So that's why I've gone a3. Tough decision to make though, especially with 5 seconds. Oh my god! No time on the clock. No time on the clock. Yeah, big play. But we'll see who it pays off for. Let's go all in. Uh, this is not okay. Okay. Let's just play some quick moves. Where should we put the king? Maybe here? So if you bring the king towards the enemy queen, then you should be able to block in a way that's good. Oh yeah, that's not blunder mate. Okay. Both of us making big mistakes. Ah man, I need a way out of this. Let's think. What's the right way? I should be bringing my king somewhere where I can get shelter. Like that. There we go. God, took too long, but we got there in the end. Oh, is that stalemate? That's not a stalemate, right? Okay, good, we got him. Oh, that was a bit of a grind. Nice. But yeah, as you can see, draw my ass. Draw my ass. Perpetual checks. I mean, a little bit at the end there, right? But okay, I just needed to find shelter for my king. But with more time, yeah, this shouldn't be a hassle at all. So I mean, in general, like you know, there's a saying, right? It's not about the number of pawns, it's about the strength of the pawn. But here we have the number and the strength, right? We've got this pass pawn, and makes it very, very tough. What do you mean, both of us doing big mistakes? Oh, there were so many mistakes there at the end. Like there were ways you could take b2 with check. I think you could pick up the d pawn with check sometimes. I think there were moments to make my life harder at the end. I think there were 3 pawns, basically. But, yeah. Interesting. Oh yeah, Jan is a mod now. So Jan has the power. With more time, I'm 99% sure I hold the draw. I really don't think so. I think queen end games can be extremely tricky, and especially with an extra pawn, you can really push. I mean, let's have a very quick look with what Engine is saying, right? Like, at what point do you think this is holding? I mean, Engine is quickly turning this around. So queen c4. Basically, I don't allow these pawns to make me weak. I keep my queen very centralized. So actually, yeah, I played the start like really, really well. And then I start pushing my pawn, and it's already +3. And yeah, now your queen gets even a bit passive. Okay, and I couldn't find the right way to deal with this. I went with this in the end. And then I went forward with my king. And yeah, this was a bit panicky. I mean, I wanted to play f4 as well to prevent a potential g5 break in some lines where I trade queens. And actually, this was the moment where I had a feeling that maybe these kind of ideas, just liquidating and just winning, would be good. But then I realized that I can actually go win the pawns myself with the king first. And yeah, now the strength of the pawn should be too much. And yeah, I doubt there's ever a draw here. Like, the only chance there's a draw if there's like a threefold repetition or something. But because it didn't get claimed, I think I'm fine. I was a bit afraid that I'm somehow getting checkmated here. I mean, this is actually the technique. With more time on the clock, I'd find King F6 because King F6 is the technique. When you're trying to avoid the perpetual checks, you want to bring the king close to the enemy king. It's a little bit risky because you might blunder a draw, but the point is like here you can block, and then the point is next time you check me, I can move with check, and I basically get the. Okay, here I'm actually blundering a draw, but okay, King H6, very precise move, and now there are no more checks. And that's the other thing. When you bring the king closer to the enemy king, you can often block the check in a way that checks the opponent and trades the queen. So this is like a really good technique, King F6. But I thought this was a checkmate or something, so I went the other way. I'm just glad I didn't blunder a threefold repetition. That would have been really sad. But yeah, managed to find the shelter and then win. Okay, this is exactly what I was hoping for in the position. So yeah, nice game for us, and let's head back to what Argard is saying. Okay, so the ability to select candidates is probably the most important for a chess player. Strategy, positional rules, concepts are important too, but if you overlook simple tactics, you'll not be able to use the others too much. Yeah, I know, I've experienced it. To put it very simply, the things you overlook in your long calculation will seldom be as important as the move you overlooked at the start. Okay, so here we have a game between Simon Webb and Argard. Maybe I'll make this the last one. Play white against your computer from this position. Against computer. Do we bother? Do we bother, guys? The position arose between two disgustingly outdated IMs and authors in the Swedish League 2002. The end was played in severe time control, and the tactical possibilities never really surfaced before the game was put under the microscope for home analysis. Please note, I recommend that you try playing the position with white against a computer. The idea is not to calculate deeply, but make good moves. Okay, can we get the position? No, we need to somehow just set up. Okay, let's not be lazy. Let's just play this. Okay, let's set this up. So pawns like that. Okay. Rook, rook, queen, knight, king. Rook, rook, queen, knight, king. Rook, rook, queen, knight, king. Was it like that? Or was it slightly different? Rook, rook. Oh no, I've got it completely wrong. I actually can't remember this for my life. Oh, the queen should be on here. Matt, and then black. Okay, let's try this out. Knight, queen, rooks. Rooks here, king on g8. Is that the position? I don't want to set up the wrong position and waste my time, so better to just triple check everything. White to play. Okay. So let's play against Stockfish. Continue from here, play computer. Go on, let's play Stockfish level 8 and see how we do. Real time, let's play 3+2 again. I'll take white. Jesus Christ, okay, so oh man, what's going on here? I'm already like close to blundering a queen. What do I even do here? If I go like queen here, then maybe rook here, I'm already like close to busted. How do I deal with this as well? Like, what is this position? Why am I having to play this? I don't know. I'd probably just sack the rook and lose. Sack the rook and lose. What am I supposed to do here? I could also play this move. Maybe that's actually the most... Yeah, but then they can take here. Oh, what do I do? What, do I have to play some ridiculous move like King F3 or something? Get out of a discovery. Defend my pawn. That's the most ridiculous move I've ever seen. Should I play it just for jokes? Let's play it. King F3. Can I not play like... Oh no. My pawn is pinned. Oh, this is going to be brutal. What even is this move? This makes no sense to me. Just play rook d7. I should be good here. Oh, is he threatening this? Oh my god. I'm about to get checkmated. Oh, that's such a clever move. Oh, I'm probably busted already then. This is why I don't play a move like King F3. It's too risky, too difficult. What? We're gonna have to just bail out then? Right, let's just do that. Let's do that. Oh, and he can do this anyway. Oh, that's so cute. Let's go King E3. It doesn't even trade queens. Oh, as bad as it looks, I really want to play F4. It's actually horrendous. It's actually horrendous. Maybe Knight F3. God, no, I'm just completely lost here. I'm just completely lost. Oh, let's just play it. I don't know. If check, I was thinking D3. And I feel like everything is protected, but probably not enough. Jesus Christ. The Stockfish want to chill. Can we play Knight D4? Does that cover C2 and somehow cover everything? There's Queen C4 check. I'm probably lost. Probably lost here. Wow. This is surely not working. No, it just makes my king even weaker. Go on, let's try this. Queen c4, king e3, and I fight. Well, I don't have a single legal move. I was thinking if he ever gives check, I can play this rook block. Why am I even getting my hopes up that maybe I've got like some back rank? Maybe no. Oh, stockfish. Ah, no, it's just lost, isn't it? It's just completely lost. Oh, let's play this. I don't even know. Ah, it's very clever. GG. Rook e8. Rook e8. For God's sake. Yeah, rook f3. King f3 was just garbage. Knight f7? I didn't even consider knight f7. Oh, knight f7 protects the queen. That's kind of clever. Knight c4 I did consider. But then I thought he just takes on e2. Interesting. So king f3 is just absolutely materialistic and garbage. Queen d1. At least rook d5 was the best move I had in the position. But yeah, it's just not pretty at all, is it? Yeah. And quickly goes wrong. Nice. GG. Right. Best way to study tactics, asks Alfie Williams. Firstly, welcome to the stream. Well, I'm studying this calculation book right now by Argard, and he got me to do this task. But actually, Frizz in the chat wrote me a message about studying tactics, so maybe we'll take a look at this after. But let's just finish off this exercise and then have a look. So yeah, so I played white. The position arose. Yeah. The moves required to win the game will not be found in long calculations, but in a lot of short variations and free making good moves on each and every move. Before we turn to the game, there is some valuable advice I would like to present you with. The first is simple. Look, don't think. Whenever I think I'm doing something really clever, it is usually just plain stupid. One of the greatest dangers in chess is that our brain gets in the way. We might sometimes have convinced ourselves that we are intelligent creatures, but we really shouldn't fall for it. We are not that smart. Often the only thing our brain does is cloud our eyes and make it impossible to see what is really going on in the position in front of us. The following example is taken from the new version of John Nunn's first collection. So we actually go further? And now we return to Web Argard. Oh man, he's gonna make us do all of this. Oh, I really want to do it. I also want to read Fritz's comment. I also need to wake up early tomorrow. Life is tough. Oh, let's just look. Don't think, look. Alright, let's have a go at this. Don't look at the solution, obviously, guys. Let's have a look. Let's just do all of it. I think the lessons to be learned will be worthwhile. Let's actually add this game to the study as well. Okay, and then let's add this. Let's turn off the engine, otherwise it will just reveal the answer. Alright, so what? This is from the look. Don't think, look. For anyone who's interested in buying the book, this is Excelling at Chess Calculation by Argard. I'd highly recommend it. So don't think, look. Alright, let me see what I'd play. God. I'm looking for that resign button right now. Like, what the hell is this? I kid, by the way. Never resign. Never ever resign. In a blitz game, I'm playing Rook A7. Rook A7. Rook A7, Rook C4, Rook B7. That's good enough for me. I'm gonna play Rook A7. Let's have a look at what is saying. John Nunn is a great writer, has won the British Chess Federation Book of the Year. He's especially renowned for high level of analysis. Nevertheless, I managed to spot another and very similar mistake in his analysis. I should say it was probably the only one who ever noticed the mistake, and that is for a good reason. Huh. Okay, let's have a look at what the solution is. Hey, Rook A7. Fantastic. I got the move. I wonder if anyone else got Rook A7. Okay, no one in chat got Rook A7, so I'll take it. Stockfish casually beating me while only on 6 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, 2000 FIDE. That's where I'm at. Was it some kind of Knight F7? Yeah, nice. Congrats on finding Knight F7. My message is more about how to think about tactics more than a way to train tactics. But honestly, Woodpecker is very good. Aha. I got the GM prep calculation by Argard. Didn't go for it fully. I mean, doing the GM prep calculation, that needs to come after this book. If you don't do the Excelling at Chess calculation first, then this is the wrong order, right? Because you need to learn how before you can do. If you want to, make the most and maximum use of the doing, right? Didn't you have time to see the board? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Rook A7. So tempting to calculate after Queen F1. Nah, don't want to calculate this. Rook A7, Queen B8, Rook F7. Wow. Didn't even get this far. Nunn gives this as a question mark in his book, unjustly, as we shall see below. Here we are really talking about candidate ideas. Why could have either come up with the highly original rook sacrifice, or he could have foreseen the opportunity to exploit the back rank with rook D-A1? Okay, so I was actually nowhere near, but at least I found the first move. That's something. and wins. Not really fair about to talk about rook takes f7 and rook d8 a1 as candidate moves. They both include certain ideas, and just seeing the move themselves proves little. I don't know if I actually completely fully agree with Argad's interpretation of this whole conversation about candidate moves and candidate ideas, because I feel like whenever candidate moves are discussed, it's always discussing the idea behind the move as well. We're not just like looking at the move and not considering anything else. Of course, we're looking at the idea behind the move, right? So I don't know why he keeps going on about this, but what I would say is useful about his distinction between candidate ideas and candidate moves is that if you have a move that you think looks good for multiple reasons, then candidate ideas is going to accept that you may have two ideas behind one move, or maybe three ideas behind one move. So it kind of allows you to look even deeper and see more. So okay, there's some crazy analysis, and somehow white wins at the end. Okay. And here, black to play. Okay, let's again, no one look at the answer. Copy position. Let me do that again in case it didn't work. Let's add this to Lichess. Let's see if we can get a move. Okay, intuitively, I just want to play d6. Isn't this obvious? d6, maybe the problem is king h8, because king f8 versus queen e7, king h8, and then we win. So d6, king h8. Looks a little bit tough. Maybe d6, king h8, queen b6. But then they've still got queen d2 check, which is a bit uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable, in fact. Also, I saw a recent stat on my YouTube that only 50% of the viewers on my streams are subscribed to Chess Lifestyle. So if you happen to be new here and you do like what you're seeing, really would appreciate that subscription. But yeah. I don't know, just queen takes d3 and be done with it. Like, surely that's going to be winning as well. Your king's a bit more active. I feel like queen takes d3 is just so simple and strong. Queen d3 is my move. Oh yeah, let's have a look. Because queen d3, I don't really see what to calculate. Like if he takes, my king is going to be more active. Maybe he tries to play for like some quick a5, a4, but I'm really not bothered. I'll just play a3. And this position, I'm gonna get my king active. So what if he plays like queen e5? I can still push this with check. I mean, it just looks great. It honestly looks great. I'm just taking this pawn. So curious to see if anyone. Oh, it's black's turn to move, for God's sake. Alright, let's see what would have been the solution if it was white's turn to move. Right. So if this was white's turn to move. I don't know why no one said anything when I've been calculating this d6. Or maybe someone did. Did anyone calculate? Okay, so d6 is actually playable and then queen d3. Okay, that makes sense. I for some reason came to the conclusion queen d3 in the starting position was good. But yeah, this is much worse version because now the king is like much closer to the center, whereas here you actually push the king to the edge of the board, and then this is definitely going to be... Oh, didn't mean to blunder. Yeah, this would be a much better version. I should see this. I should see this difference and find this. But okay, it doesn't even matter because this position isn't even white's turn to move, and d2 is actually just strong apparently. Fair enough. Okay, so let's see what Argad has to say about all of this. So Yeah, none describes this game in his own words and explanations, but appears to be of the belief, as I was for years, that White fell victim of a classical combination. Actually, it's very difficult to understand how he could make this mistake, but the explanation is probably that he looked at the example without a computer program. I had thought about using the example myself, but when I reckoned the variations, I realized White had a major improvement. Go back and see if you can find the only defense of a combination without letting me do all the work. Solution is given below. So the point being is actually apparently in this position D2 isn't enough to be winning. Even though engine says minus 1.5. I guess that's the point. Maybe it's not winning. So there's check king here. And maybe there's some super duper move here. But why is this such a talking point? I don't really get it. To be honest. D2, D6, king H8. And queen C3. The point is to promote to a knight. Oh my god, I didn't even see that was the point. I just thought they promote to a queen and I was like, what's the big deal? But you can play queen D1? Queen D3? Because you can't take in this. Wow, what a move. I don't know, this is really difficult to spot. Really, really difficult to spot. Now let's return to Web Argard. So yeah, this was the position I played with a computer and got wrecked. So let's look at the solution here. So Webb actually found knight f7. This is the only serious candidate. The method of elimination should make this clear. Webb played this with only 5 minutes left on the clock. Knight f7, queen e2, queen e5. Knight takes, rook f5, knight d7. Black is out of ideas. What is the only defense of this kind of aggression? Rook e8. This is the chess equivalent to turning the other cheek. It is clearly the only move, as the alternatives all lose directly. For a practical player, this is a nice move to find. And the pressure losing another pawn. Yeah, you see, like, basically, like, you know, Webb and Argard both found fantastic moves in this very double-edged position. I struggled to find the correct move. I played king f3. I wasn't close to finding this. So this is where, like, if you play positions where you can play positions that suit you much better, you're really going to help yourself out. I don't think this is a case of me having Russian roulette where it's like some game I'm going to beat Argard, some game I'm going to lose. No, I'm going to lose every time. But if I play Argard in a position that I understand really well, I don't think I'm going to lose every time. I don't think Argard has expertise in every single chess position better than me. I think there are some positions where I can at least match him. But from a tactical perspective, his intuition is so strong. Like, I've read quite a few Argard works now, and I really know that Argard can find some really beautiful creative ideas under pressure and find some good stuff. Yeah, knight promotion was crazy. That position is where my message could help you. Okay, interesting. Yeah, we're gonna check your message first very soon. But yeah, turns out. Okay, we get one final bonus question here. How should White have continued after Rook A E8? Oh, this is just winning. This is just winning for Black, right? So earlier Rook A E8. We can't even go back. Rook A E8. 18 Rook A E8. We don't even have the full game. That's a bit weird. Oh, I tried clicking F10 and it doesn't even work. So I think there must be some glitch with this or something. I don't know. But yeah. So of course these lines are deeply complicated. No one in the world would be able to calculate all of them from the starting position. Nobody in the right mind would try. The main point here is that most moves can be found without calculating them deeply. All that is needed is to compare some variations, discard any garbage lines we see, and find a few strong moves at critical moments. If you have no training in finding candidates, then it will be difficult, even impossible, for you to find these moves. And the odds are that you will not be able to solve the positions and the problems in the position. The reason why we need to train ourselves to actually look at the board is because we find most chess moves in the same way we solve other problems in life. As a species, we are gifted with several tools for decision making, one of which is pattern recognition. This means we're able to make very quick decisions in all kinds of situations by comparing them with previous experiences, which gives us a qualified line of action almost for free. The problem is that, although this is very practical in most life situations, it's not necessarily the best way of finding the best move in a chess position. Chess analysis cannot be done fully without paying attention to the peculiarities of the position. You need to concentrate on seeing the situation of the game as it actually is. And how is that done? The answer is more simple. Calculate more slowly. If we return to the position, yeah, this is where this queen d3 move was found, right? There's the Nilsson-Aagaard d2, d6, queen d3. This move does not completely save the game, but for the time being, at least black does not have a forced win. For white, it could have been sufficient to calculate half a move ahead, no more, and then appreciate the consequences. This can of course be difficult, but in such a position, the most important thing is not to give up hope. Once white had played queen takes c3 in the game was over and might have as well resigned. So why not scan the position for additional ideas first? As we shall see in the section dedicated to defense, a position can be very unpleasant and yet contain many resources. In fact, most people make mistakes when faced with persistent defense. It is extremely rare for us to see games, even between two grandmasters, in which a player makes no mistakes. The only occasions are when one plays well below standard and makes it easy for the opponent. Interesting. I feel like I had a situation like this recently. Yes, this was not something recent. This was a chess lesson I gave, and I brought up this topic. Okay, let me pull up this game actually because I think it's kind of relevant. Okay, let me pull this up. So actually, this is exactly the mistake I made. Let me find this. Give me like 20 seconds to find this, and bring it into the game. Okay. This is really interesting. Like I knew that I had made this mistake recently, and I'm glad I could pull up this game. So this was actually a horrific game that I played in Hull when I had this devastating tournament. And this is the position. Oh, let's go with this. Yeah, this is the position here. And basically my opponent took here. So it's black to play. I'm gonna drink some water, fill up my water, and by the time I'm back, I want some answers, guys. So what would you play here? Okay, what's your full line first? King d6. What's your line? So the crazy thing was, in this position, I'd actually previously had a pawn up in this endgame, completely butchered it, messed up once, messed up twice, and this was going to be my third mess up. So king d6, king f5, king e7. Stop the G pawn and push the pawn. What if, okay, king d6, king f5, king e7, king g6. So let me tell you, in this position, I basically calculated very quickly. I thought I had two candidate moves. Either I basically play king d4 and start pushing this pawn, or I play king d6 and try and stop this pawn. Now, if they start pushing the pawn like this, I basically get my king. Maybe, actually, where do I want it? Maybe I even want it here. Maybe I even want it here. Because now if king here, then there's no way for them to help push the pawn, right? So I think this makes sense. So if king d6 push king e7, they come this way. I should be able to push the pawn in time, I think. King comes here, I push the pawn. If they come here, I come here, 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 here. No, so what am I missing here? If I come here, 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 I push the pawn maybe? King a3. Push the pawn, queen. No, I'm one move away and it's not check. So what am I missing? Can't believe after all these years I'm still making mistakes on this puzzle. Maybe king e7? Why is this not winning? And that's the key thing, Frizz. You got it. So basically in this position, if king d6, king c4, king e7, king g6, momentarily the white king blocks the pawn and I can play c5. And point being, after king a2, c4, push, 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 queen, queen. We queen at the same time and I have an extra pawn. But actually, yeah, what am I doing after this pawn push? King e7, king b4. Oh, I literally can't calculate for my life. I literally just blockade the pawn. And then I'm just completely fine. Why can't I calculate better? Okay, so yeah, basically this is the case. And yeah, in the game, I literally did a quick rush calculation. I said, oh, king here, king here, king here, king here, king here, king here. Push the pawn, push the pawn, push the pawn, check. Yeah, I'm way too slow, and now my king is not even anywhere near to help. And then I went, okay, so my best choice is just to go here. And my logic was that at least this way my king is closer to the pawn, and maybe I have some very, very unrealistic hopes of winning this. But in fact, yeah, this is just drawing. I literally had a draw, and the worst part was this was classical, and I literally had like 20 minutes on my clock. I didn't even have little time. I was just so convinced that the position was lost. And I just didn't see it. So this is where, like, what was Argad's point again? I didn't even remember. Why did this trigger this? Scanning the position for additional ideas. So having more candidate ideas. Yeah, so like this in this instant, basically, if I had the candidate idea to push the pawn when the king is blocking the pawn, then I would have found this. And actually, this is a really, really iconic game of mine, because this was what ended up causing me to quit chess for some time, because I had just studied Turetsky's pawn endgames for 2 months, and I was doing solving exercises way, way more difficult than this. And then I literally couldn't even do this in a real game, and I was just so disgusted with myself that I was just like, nah, chess isn't for me. But ultimately, yeah, you need to experience these terrible situations and then learn from it. And I mean, I hope that I'm slightly better at finding these positions, but still, I'm not much better. And really what I've been doing is basically just avoiding situations where I show my flaws, right? And I know Frizz is going to have a big thing to say about this, I'm sure, with his message. So, yeah, that's my point there. But, yeah. Oh, okay, there's still quite a bit to go. Maybe we finish this tomorrow. This Marshall Lasker, and we go further on. Interesting. The following example is one of the all-time best defenders, Emmanuel Lasco, who was a great tactician. His style of play did not incorporate many combinations as such, but there are other levels of tactical chess. Very interesting. I've been told that my style was similar to Lasca, and actually Emmanuel Lasca is a player who, for many many years, I've been like dabbling with the idea of delving into Lasca and his games to learn from it. Actually, I think there's even a Chessable course. Maybe I'll look into this on Emmanuel Lasca. Let me look into this. Lasca move by move. Is this the book? Maybe this is the book. Lasca move by move. Wow, so little love for a course like this. Emmanuel Lasca's longest reigning world champion in history. Openings were less than stellar. He frequently made mistakes and found himself in worse positions. Resourcefulness, attacking prowess, drive to win were unparalleled. Grandmaster Zen and Franco annotated the games. Looks like a decent book, to be fair. Looking at all of these games, I'm sure I'd become a stronger player by doing this. Yeah, I need to look into some Lasca. I think this would be really cool. Maybe even on my chess travels, like just studying Lasca's games, that would be a really cool way to improve. Easy. So are you saying C3 Venom helps you in terms of making it easier, or are you saying it helps you because it helps you practice your positional chess? Also, by the way, that quote is great. When you find a good move, look for a better one. Actually, yeah. I mean, this is actually kind of what this whole Ardguard calculation has been talking about as well, right? Like, in many of these positions, I was just settling for a move that I feel comfortable with and not really trying to delve deeper into finding a better move, which is really interesting. Okay, now having done this long training, let's actually finish up with what Fritz wrote to me. Let me change account 1 second. Let's read this on stream together. Okay. Wait, probably I should go on the left side. Right, let's have a look. So, hey Michael, so when I was watching your stream, when I realized why you weren't improving as much as other people when training tactics, first of all, I got surprised when I realized the only times I saw you were negative is when facing a difficult tactic. You're always like, oh, I just don't like tactics anyway. I'll just play simpler chess. And although it's true that tactics are difficult, I think you should think about it in a different way. Some people say that chess is 99% tactics, load of bullshit, that quote. And even though that statement isn't really true, oftentimes the outcome of a game is decided by a tactic. Whether the attacking side has found, then he will win, or he did not found and lost all his advantage, or even got into a losing position. The opposite can happen too. The defending side can turn the game completely in his favor if he was under pressure but found a tactic that gave him a winning advantage. So I think you should think about tactics as a real tool that will be useful to you 100% in your games. Personally, I think that tactics are the most beautiful aspect of chess, finally using our pieces to gain a winning advantage, which will lead me to the second point. So I completely agree how important tactics are. I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing how important it is, and I wish I could make it used as a tool to win me games. But my point is that I find that when I try and put myself in these positions, I don't succeed as often as I would like. Like, for sure, if I could be tactically stronger, absolutely. Like, I think it's a very important tool. That's probably the most important tool. I completely agree with this. But Yeah, I don't know. It's like saying like, I don't know, a guy who's disabled in a wheelchair being like, oh, walking is really, really useful. It's like, thanks, man. Like, I appreciate walking is useful, but it's like, how to walk is the question in a situation where you're disabled. It's like, it's really not easy for me. But okay, let's have a look at how we can do this. So tactics are action. When a tactic is on the board, it means it's time to use our pieces. So this is something that I'm actually pretty good at. Maybe I've been doing it less so in my games, but in the past I've been very, very good at sensing when there's a tactic in the position. Like I have a really good feeling of like when the position is such, when it's a critical moment and it's time to find the right tactic. My problem is actually finding the tactic. I can feel that the tactic is there and just not see the tactic. So when a tactic is on the board, it means it's time to use our pieces. We can win the game. Now it's just a matter of finding how to deliver the decisive blow. By action, I mean forcing moves. And this is something you really struggle to do, I found by watching your streams. For example, you're going to laugh when you see that. The moment I had the realization of the reasons you struggled with the tactics of 4625 of day 157. Let's go there. Screw it, let's go there. For the record first, I can show you so many games where I have literally completely butchered a game based on tactics, where I can sense that it's the right way to continue, and I completely dismantle. I mean, a really extreme case actually. Let me just pull this up. I actually prepared these games for you, Frizz. I was gonna show you these later. I want to show you two different games, right? Okay, let's see this. So this is the first game where basically I played a Benoni, basically played it on positional means. I understood the position, traded one minor piece. He played a5 when he probably shouldn't have. I get this open b file. We get into some trades. And, you might think these are tactics. They're not really. It's just kind of like, obvious moves in the position. We get this combination. We get opposite colored bishops in a middle game. So whoever attacks is going to win. I traded queens because I felt like actually my rook on d2 was useful. I basically won a pawn. I established my bishop on a very useful square. I then started pushing my pawns. I saw that and my opponent found a tactic, right? This was the only moment he found a tactic, which I hadn't seen. This is quite clever, right? Because I can't take because of check. I can't really take here because what can he do? He can take, he's threatening the queen, I have to take him and he takes. And then we've probably got a drawn endgame, right? But then I realized it doesn't work because I can play rook b8 and I've got back rank ideas. So he was the one to do a clever tactic. I was basically reacting to the tactic and found a way to actually exploit the fact that his tactic doesn't work, and he resigned because he can't deal with the fact that I'm going to win a pawn and threaten checkmate. So this game, I didn't have to use my tactical brain at all. I was basically reacting to his one and only tactic in the game. And for the rest of it, it was very, very flowy. Very natural, just playing how the position deserves to be played without really looking for any tactics. Here is a game where I got a completely winning position, where basically I had a lot of pressure on his position. I got a great position. I even found a tactic, won a pawn. I then even won a piece. Fantastic, I won a piece in this position. I got my king safe. And, okay, in fairness, I was having a bad, session with my blitz. I saw that he was going to win this pawn. I didn't care. I was going to get my rooks on the 7th. I even managed to win a pawn. This is completely, utterly winning. +5, right? And in this position, I even stop him from any kind of potential, checkmating kind of patterns, right? I don't know if I'm going to get checkmated by the end of this, right? So I played knight g1 to block this. And in this position, there's nothing. I played bishop e5. And in this position, okay, he's trying to be clever, right? Because the idea is that maybe if I take, he can basically, if I try and do a discovery, he can take my bishop kind of thing. But I realize that I can do this anyway. He can't take because basically I've got this and I'm just got double check and this is just mate, right? So in this position, he plays king h7. I take on g7 with lots of potential attacks. I then play bishop f8. And in this position, I play rook g7, thinking that this has to be winning. And I know this has to be winning, right? I know this has to be winning, 100% sure. I'm looking and looking and looking. And I'm like debating between like rook h7, rook g8, and looking at all these ideas. And I decide that rook g3 is my best bet. He just takes my bishop. Completely miss that he takes my bishop, right? And now suddenly this position isn't so clear. And suddenly I'm having to scramble this position. And, you know, I end up having no time on the clock. And basically I end up in a lost position and lose the game, right? Right? Plus 200 position, this position, right? And the interesting thing is this decision to sacrifice the knight is completely correct. In this position, rook g7 is the correct move. And this is mate in 4. But I don't see the mate in 4. I was calculating rook h7 and I didn't see it. I didn't see it and I lost the game as a result. So compare these two games. This game I didn't use tactics at all, easy win. This game I, you know, used tactics multiple occasions and I lost. And okay, you can say that, okay, like, you know, this is just one game, but no. I've played so much chess to my folder of games is probably this thick. I know the type of positions I excel in and the positions that I don't. And these kind of positions, I know it's winning and I don't find the move. I can train my tactics as hard as I can and it will still be a struggle. So I will read on for your message, but I cannot stress this enough. But this is the case. This is the case. Until recently, I had the worst score against 2200s, where I would have a +3 or more position, where I'm completely winning, and I need a final finishing blow tactic to win, and I can't see it. I literally can't see it. So this is really important to me. It's really important. Like, but yeah. Favorite endgame book? Is this a random question, Dan? We're in the deep realms of like understanding tactics and calculations, so I'll answer this another day. I don't like losing the knight. In Blitz, maybe it's your time management also. Maybe. But I don't know, in classical, you know, to even get to like these winning positions against 2200s, you have to burn a lot of time, and you often don't have much time. You just have to be strong tactically, and it's not easy just to be strong tactically, right? But okay, let's continue reading your message. I'll try and keep an open mind. So yes, you said at 46.25 of your daily 157. So let's go to that now. Let's go to that now. So live. What was it? 46.27, 46.25. Okay, so what was this position? So this was some Kappa Blank tactic. Oh, this was some crazy tactic, right? Wasn't this like some? I don't even remember. Wasn't it like some like knight takes f7 and somehow winning, and that was like some long idea. I don't even know, right? Like this is really tough, right? So let's see what you say. The moment I had the realization of the reason you struggled at tactics is 46.25. The line you gave to solve the puzzle was anything but forcing moves. I suggested queen f5, bishop f6, bishop takes e4, d takes e4, knight d2. Queen f5, bishop f6 takes knight d2. Right, yeah, that looks like a reasonable line to me. So you're not doing anything. Potentially picking up a pawn is not enough. The day 158 had the same kind of mistakes, forcing moves. The classic. Okay, so let me try solve this with forcing moves, right? Let me try do forcing moves and solve the answer, right? Because I don't know what to look at. Okay, so what checks do I have? Queen h7, knight h7. No way, right? Forcing moves. Can I do some captures? Knight f7. Let's assume king takes f7. Queen f5 check. I guess king g8, bishop f6 are both candidates. So if knight f7, king f7, queen f5, bishop, king g8. I remember that this was the answer, but I don't see why. Knight f7, king f7, queen f5, king g8. Like, is this easy for you to do, Fritz? Like, do you just remember like how like what the tactical themes are? Because I just don't see it, and I think it's so hard for like players who are like, you know, not tactically stunted to just assume that it's just easy. It's I really knight f7, king f7, queen f5, king g8. Do I have a follow up here? This was the rook takes e4. Pawn takes e4 and bishop c4 check. Right? Bishop c4 check, then king h8. And still I don't see the win. Although there I can maybe play like bishop takes e7 and then knight g5, threatening like knight f7 and also... No, there's no queen takes h7, there's still a knight on f8. Like, to me, it's so murky. It's so murky to try and calculate this. It's really not easy. I don't know how many forcing moves. Like knight f7, king f7, queen f5, king g8, rook takes e4 forcing, d takes e4, bishop c4 check, king h8. Do I have a forcing move here? Maybe queen f7 threatens mate on g8. But it's just so much to consider, and we've sacked so much material. It's really difficult. I remember that's probably because I have great memory, but I have a method on how to find those moves. Right. I don't know. Let me keep reading first, and we'll come back to this. So, okay. For classic checks, captures, and attacks is simple but really effective. You should not think the move is stupid just by intuition if the move is taking advantage of a weakness in the opponent's position. But you're going to say to me, how am I supposed to look at all the moves in a game, especially in a blitz game? Is exhausting? Well, yes, but actually no, which brings me to my third point, which probably holds you back the most. Calculate more lines. Unlike positional play, since it's 100% sure that we're winning, then you just have to find it to search it. So search it. Don't think too long on a move trying to find the right one next. What do you mean by right one next? It's not a positional position, so try a lot of different lines of calculation. You'll see... Yeah, that's actually one good point. I don't really calculate enough, I think. You'll see some patterns emerge and ideas popping into your head as you familiarize with the position. But then you'll find the correct move order. For example, I play games and I feel a tactic. I calculate 5 or 6 variations that are 3 to 4 moves long at least in less than 10 seconds until I can make it work. But how, where, and how to find a tactic... Look for weaknesses in your opponent's position, a square, such piece. Yeah, so really evaluate the position, understand what's going on, and then just calculate more. Yeah, probably I can. But I don't know, I feel like I'm slow when I calculate. And it's not like even, let's say, a matter of training. It's just I find it difficult. I find it really difficult to just look. Like knight f7, king f7, queen f5. Yeah, I need to calculate bishop f6. I need to calculate king g8. But I can't just do it. Like I feel like there's just too much going on. It's like almost like my brain gets overloaded. Like maybe that's something that you don't find so much, but in life I feel like my brain gets overloaded so much, and I just completely short circuit. Like I really find my brain gets overloaded quickly. Yeah, that's the slowness that holds you back. I would say the one time where it has improved is not through doing middle game tactics like Woodpecker, but it's when I did the Dvoretsky pawn endgames and I calculated every single puzzle with my coach Nicola at the time. And really, like, already I can say certain moves. Like, let's say I say like queen f5. Obviously now I'm doing it really slowly. Like knight takes f7, king takes f7, queen f5, king g8, rook takes e4, pawn takes e4, bishop c4, king h8. I can say these moves and see the moves very fast. Before, you wouldn't believe, I was even slower. I would have to go like knight f7, king f7, queen f7, king g7, king g8, I mean. Where are all the pieces, rook e8? So, you know, I was even slower. Back then. But this is the thing, the speed does not come naturally to me. I mean, I was that slow back then and I still had a rating of 1900. Because I literally pushed the game in an even more extreme way to my strengths. And basically, I mean, when I got to 1900 FIDE and like 2050 ECF, My skills as a player was like 1700. Like, not gonna lie. I was completely overrated, but also not overrated. I basically just played in a style that led to really good results for me. So I think maybe I was like capped at that level, and now I'm a lot less capped. But still, I need to be smart about my decisions with this because it's really not as easy. Okay, read the rest of the message. Okay, let's go. Let's go. So, okay. So square/piece that's only defended by a king, a loose piece, a color complex that's weak, and so on. And use the pieces in an active way. Do something with your pieces, forcing moves, checks, captures, attacks. Do not calculate one line deeply until you quickly check all the other candidate lines. Maybe it's not necessary to spend 30 minutes evaluating that drawish endgame position that arises after exchange when a much better possibility is available. Yeah, this is the whole Lasker look for a better move, right? So keywords, candidate lines. I saw that every time you try to solve a puzzle, you check 2 or 3 lines and then go deeply into one line. But exactly, that's what I do. Trying to figure out if it's winning or not. What you should do is calculate a lot more lines. Maybe there are only 2 or 3 moves that could make sense, but with those 2 or 3 moves, are at least 10 or more candidate lines that could exploit a weakness. Yeah, I don't think I've ever looked at 10 lines. But how to narrow down your opponent's resources to defend their position, look at the most uncomfortable move that your opponent can play, and that's usually their best try to defend their position. Interesting, right? And only the most uncomfortable one. If you see more than one uncomfortable one, great. It gives you another line to calculate. How to calculate more lines? Here's my 4th point. And on this one, you should not have real difficulty, so I'll keep it short. Visualization is key. If you can see the pieces move, you'll calculate faster, or the small variations must calculate better. Yeah, I feel like my visualization's alright. Also, as I've said, okay, 1 point to draw from this is calculate more short lines. But in this position, right, this position, I don't know how many other lines to calculate. Knight f7 is one. Queen f5 potentially is another. Maybe bishop takes e4, but it doesn't really do too much, I feel like. Like, what else? How am I supposed to get to 10 moves here? Maybe bishop h6 is worth considering. Like, it potentially weakens the king slightly. Maybe bishop takes e7, so I can bring the other knight in. But it's just like, I can see the ideas, but it's just like, there's so much resistance to being able to just calculate it. Like, let's say this bishop e7, for instance. Bishop e7, queen e7, knight g5. Maybe they just go f6. And maybe that's the end of my line. And then I can dismiss it and move on. I don't even know. Like, to me, I just want to deeply calculate this knight takes f7 because it feels like it's right. Calculate lines to try and find ways to activate more pieces to attack. Right. Find more ways. Yeah. This is the thing as well, though. It's like, I don't like attacking the king. I don't like defending the king. I don't like attacking the king. So it's like, you know, like, how does this this kind of like thought process apply to positions where you're not attacking the king? Like, where you need to calculate, but it's not involving the king. Exploit a weakness in the opponent's position. Yeah. Yeah, now you say it like that, maybe knight f7 makes more sense, right? We're just simply exploiting a weakness. Maybe I need to think more in this kind of way. But yeah. Do every move with purpose. When you have time, try to explain to yourself why. At the end of a tactic lies a winning advantage. Right. I mean, that's the dream, right? It's not always the case, but I guess with the woodpecker method exercises there are. Yeah, so I mean, basically what I can understand, Frizz, is that this kind of like these points that you're making, I guess like you have a better grasp on how to find the winning move in a critical position better than I do. But the question is like, is this something I can really improve a lot on or not? I mean, like, there will be times where I will need to execute it well. But also, I feel like, in an actual game, when it comes to that moment where I really need to execute it and I really need to find that move, I feel like I actually do okay. Because, I understand it's a critical moment. I realize it's not come up that often. I can really exert myself and do what you're saying. Like, what you're saying, like, a lot of it does make sense to me, right? I think I can do it. The problem comes is when I'm doing something like woodpecker method and I'm just having to do critical position after critical position after critical position, I burn out so quickly because it's really draining for me to do the step-by-step process. Like compared to, let's say, the queen end game that we played, right? When I was making all these moves that was like slow grinding you, this is easy for me. This isn't draining at all. And I felt like I could sense when you were making weak moves, when you were kind of like just kind of floundering a bit, and I could really grind. It felt very natural to me. Whereas maybe these positions for you feel less natural compared to a critical position. So I think everyone has their strengths, and this really burns a lot of energy for me. Yeah, woodpecker builds up endurance for sure. And I feel like I have got a bit sharper by doing the woodpecker, but for sure, yeah, I mean like this premise, right? At the start where you're saying like, I'm doing this tactics training and I'm not improving as much as you expect, right? This at the start, right? Improving as much as other people. The reason being, I think, is not necessarily because I'm training completely wrong, but the fact is I'm just worse at tactics and, improving at tactics intrinsically as a person. So, I mean, you can say this as like some negative, like closed mindset, right? Like instead of like some growth mindset. But I think in a way, like I am really trying to understand my chess, and I think to be able to appreciate your strengths and your flaws is a very growth mindset attitude. And I think like, yeah, this understanding helps a lot because it means that I can play more games like this where I completely crush my opponent without having to try, and less games like this where I basically have to resort to finding a checkmate in 4 and not blundering, and then I blunder. So it's like I can literally tailor my games to more position. Of course, I'm not going to get it every time. And of course, when I do get these positions, I'm going to be able to lock in and find this checkmate in 4 in a classical game. But I don't want to have to do this every game, because if I do this every game, I'm going to burn out. And I used to play a style of chess where I would get these kind of positions every game, and I would make blunders and mess up on occasion. Whereas if I'm playing the majority of my games like this, and only a few games like this is going to help my results big time. No, your opponent cannot force if I am clever enough. If I'm clever enough to push the position into my style, which is why I play extremely stylistic openings that prevent the opponent from having as much option to push the game in that direction. I am thinking about this style more than most of my opponents. Maybe technically, maybe objectively speaking, yeah, I can't avoid it. If there was like some 3000 level stylistic player who could exactly examine what position that I wouldn't want and push me in that direction. But in terms of like this kind of aspect, I'm very, very good at. So I haven't really had this problem. Like most people aren't thinking in this way, they're just trying to play the best stockfish move and then asking themselves why they're not like winning their games, right? So I feel like this kind of practical aspect, I have an edge on most people, and this means like I'm not having a problem with my opponents forcing myself into positions that I don't want. It's normally me putting my own self into these positions because I'm not like being careful enough. And maybe it's a bad position for him, but if it's sharp, yeah, this is true. But I'm even one step ahead. I will see that a position is good for me, and I will decline it because I know this is a position that I might do badly in. For instance, when I played Damian Lemos, the Grandmaster in my Simmel, there was a position where I knew he could play a move and I knew it was bad. But it would get very, very sharp. I prevented it, even knowing that my move was objectively not the best move in the position. I could play a better move in the position, but allows this dubious move, which I knew was dubious, but I prevented it. Because I knew that if I get into that dubious position, even if it's a worse move than the current position, a worse evaluation, because he's a GM and because he's better at tactics and sharp positions than I am, I will lose. Whereas if I play the move that is objectively less good, but I am getting a position that I understand well and I can match in terms of my strength with the GM. I have a better chance. Yes, it limits me, but I am limited as a person. We are all limited as people. We are human beings. We are not these divine players that have the ability to consistently play like Stockfish. I understand that limits me, and I'm using that to my best ability to play better chess. I don't know if this makes sense to you, Fritz, but it makes complete sense to me, and I know for a fact this is doing me better. Because in my results in the last few months, I have been doing better. I've been performing at 21, 2200 in my tournaments, and for a reason. It's not because I've necessarily got better at, like, you know, my tactical ability and so on. I'm sure that has improved a little bit, but not to the point of, like, you know, performing at like 200 points higher. And it's really this kind of mindset of being really practical about what positions I'm going to play, what positions I'm going to get. It makes a big deal of difference. So let me finish what you were saying. So calculate more lines, yes. Visualization, yes. So I'll finish the long message by listing the kinds of puzzle I found you struggled the most to solve. Bring more pieces to the attack, aha. I've already talked about this, but you often make the mistake in puzzles of not bringing one more piece. What was the game recently I played where I brought in an extra piece? Yeah, this was one of the games I played in the stream. Like it was this position. It was this position. Let me find this. Let me find this. So this was one of the recent grind games. Let me get the exact position. And I'll show you exactly the kind of situation. Where no, it was later. It's where he castled queenside. This position, right? This position here. I felt like I did a great job of bringing the pieces to the attack, right? And basically at this moment, I felt like this had to be winning. I actually haven't checked this with an engine. And here, I just couldn't see the knockout blow. I couldn't see the knockout blow at all because, you know, this kind of knockout blow is just I'm not very good at. And then I just found very simple, bring the pieces to the attack. So this kind of position where it's a little less like concrete, just simply take on c5 and bring rook d1, this I'm good at. And then, of course, this is an even more overwhelmingly winning position and I won the game. But already in this position, I reckon there was probably a knockout blow here. I just couldn't see it. Yeah, I know you're not forcing me to play the sharp positions and you're just trying to diagnose what's going wrong. I appreciate this, Chris. But I'm also basically trying to justify the reason for my mentality with these things. Because I still feel like there's a part of you that is kind of like in the mindset that, you know, trying to, you know, get good at these positions and play these positions is the way for me to go. But I really don't. I don't think so. Instead of b6, maybe c6. Maybe. Honestly, probably. Right? We can even have a look. We can even have a look at this position. Why not? Who are we playing in this game? It was Bako. Let's see. Bako. Let's check this game. Self-analysis. And let's have a very quick look. Yeah, so this position again, completely winning. I had to grind this position out because I couldn't see the knockout blow. Like bishop d6, like you could say this is a forcing move, and yeah, this should be calculated. So let's calculate. The bishop d6, queen d6. What on earth is the point? I've just lost the bishop. Like to me, I don't see any follow-up. I do not see a follow-up here. Bishop takes d6, queen d6. Forcing move. I give a check. Queen d8. Queen e6, giving a check. Okay, maybe that's something here. Maybe this, queen d7. If I take the queen, they can take with knight. So where's the win? So let's have a look. Let's see how forcing this line is. Bishop d6, queen d6, queen e8, queen d8. Just the other forcing move, right? I just can't see it. I just can't see, like, the idea of queen d8. Like, maybe this is the point what Agard was saying as well. Like, right? Calculate more slowly. Yeah, exactly. Queen e8, queen d8, just pick up the rook, right? I don't see it. And you could say just look at the forcing move religiously, but it's like, I need to first work out that it's a forcing move. Like, it's not instant for me. It's really not instant for me. Watch which pieces defend which. Yeah, maybe, okay, if I'm playing the game, I appreciate the king is the only piece defending the rook, and then I'm already looking to displace this. But already these kind of deflection tactics, like, I remember, like, training these. I'm not good at them. I'm really not good at them. Yeah, I can logically see it, but it's just, like, when I'm trying to calculate, it's not coming to me. And definitely not coming to me the same way that I'm able to play these other positions, like this Benoni game that I played, or even, like, the queen endgame grind against you. Like, some people would think that the queen endgame grind would be much harder to play intuitively, but for me it's much easier, and these kind of forcing positions are much harder, so yeah. But yeah, I'm not surprised that there's a win here, because I feel like there's a win, but I can't find it. I can't find it. Like, now that I see it, now I can't unsee it, right? But it's so difficult. It's so difficult for me. Yeah. So, removing the defender, and I found that this kind of tactic is difficult for you because of another problem you have. I promise it's the last one. For example, at the end of the line, you saw that your opponent's king was in the center. You thought, oh, the center is a bad place for the king, I must be winning. Well, no, the actual thing to find in puzzles is how to decrease the opponent's defending power. Less pieces able to defend the king, or increasing our attacking pieces by bringing more pieces in the attack. If the king gets in the center, but all the forcing moves that you can play up can be blocked or neutralized by the opponent, then that means you did something wrong. Because most of the time, in puzzles, we have to get material... We have or get a material disadvantage, so if the opponent can survive our attack and survives an important work, then they'll be fine. Right. Yeah, to me, like... Yeah, that kind of, like, hustle for that material grind is... I mean, material advantage, it's just... I want, like, for me, I prefer reaching a position where I know how to play and continue the advantage and play for the win, as opposed to just having that, like, yeah, I've won a piece or something. Yeah, how convenient. Bishop takes d6 as a deflection tactic. Yeah. Just... I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw bishop takes d6, and I just couldn't make it work in the game. I'm pretty sure I saw. We can even check... You know what? Let's put my money where my mouth is. Let's even see. Like, what did I even calculate here? So what, in this position? Is this the position instead of knight c4? Was it after knight c4? Yeah, in this position, bishop d6 is winning, right? Instead of knight c4. So what did I play here? Alright, let's listen what I said.
Bishop takes could be a move. If queen takes, rook takes, king takes, queen...
See, what am I calculating here? I'm literally looking at a capture here instead of a check.
Check. This forces either king c6 or king here. Do I have a follow-up?
And that's the thing. My intuition with these kind of, like, knockout blows are often wrong. And then this wastes a lot of time. And it's like, okay, maybe you can argue that bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes, king takes, queen a7. I should already stop there and be like, okay, do I have anything else? Do these kind of, like, calculate as many shorter variations as possible as opposed to delving into something deep? Yeah, maybe this is something I really need to do. Maybe this point, frizz is really important.
Yeah. Maybe let's just play it slow. Let's just bring the knight in as well.
Because here, because this is my logic, right? Like, here I'm bringing another piece into the attack. If I can't find a knockout blow immediately, then it's definitely going to be working if I have an extra piece in the attack, especially given how uncoordinated black's defense is. Yeah, checks first, then captures, and last attacks. I mean, you know what, Frizz? I don't know if you know this about me, but I literally didn't hear about checks, captures, threats as a concept. I literally didn't know about this until 2021. I had been playing chess for 12 years by that point. 12 years of not knowing checks, captures, threats. How did I even play chess? I got to a level of 2050 ECF. I got to a level of 1900 FIDE without knowing checks and captures and threats. And you wonder why this doesn't come intuitively to me. Because it's not like... I've played 12 years of a different game. So it's not easy for me to just switch. It's really not easy. And the funny thing is, I'm not the only one who didn't know about this checks, captures, threats. There's a guy at my local club, Henderson. He's like 1900 ECF. I told him last year about checks, captures, threats, and his mind was blown. He was like, no way. No wonder he's like struggling with these like finishing blow tactics just like me. Because he doesn't know checks, captures, threats. Right? It's crazy. Right, your position is so superior. There's not a unique solution, right? But yeah, I take your point that there will be times that it is, and therefore there I need to be looking at even more forcing lines. I don't look at enough forcing lines. That's fair. So okay, I'll make a note of this. Right, these are two, like, uh, look when calculating. Um, calculate faster multiple short variations before delving deep into anything, into any one line. And the second thing I said there was really aim to calculate the forcing lines starting with checks even if the line isn't in your immediate intuition. I think these 2 points, yeah, I do understand what you're saying, for I can definitely try and improve on this. Yeah, so just to read it out one more time. When calculating, calculate faster multiple short variations before delving deep into any one line. And the second one was really aim to calculate the forcing lines, starting with checks, even if the line isn't your immediate intuition. I think both of these points are really legit. So okay, and all of that is tied to the fact that tactics are not positional play, it's action. It's not just placing pieces like that queen f5 move, but actually doing something, exploiting a weakness in the opponent's position, in that first example, the f7 square. And finally, you asked me how I should be able to calculate tactics when I'm tired, and here's the funny thing, you don't. You just blunder. The whole point of tactics is to be sharp, sharper than your opponent. For example, personally, my strong suit is tactics, so to find tactics in the game, I play active pieces moves until I see a combination, forcing moves from afar, and then I'll work my way towards it. Interesting. And I think that's the thing. To be sharper than my opponent, I'm not such a sharp guy. In general, like, my brain is often quite fuzzy, and I can kind of, like, focus when it comes to, like, making, like, positional decisions, because it's a bit more like kind of having a conversation. Whereas, like, the kind of, like, raw calculative lines, I really don't have the stamina for it. Like, because it's really not my style. It's really not suited to me. It's like, I don't know. It's like, let's say someone is good at long distance running and someone is good at short distance running. And we're basically talking about, okay, you need the energy for short distance running. And hey, a long distance runner can try to do a sprint, but it's just not natural. And therefore, they're just going to burn out faster. And sure, that long distance runner can do training day in, day out to do and become a short distance runner. But at the end of the day, they're a long distance runner by nature. It's literally this. I really like this short distance, long distance runner analogy. So short versus long distance runner is like this parallel between tactical versus positional player. I really think I really feel like it's the same. And the annoying thing is that with a lot of different sports, let's say short distance or long distance, you can basically just choose the type of running that suits you best. If you're a short distance runner, you do sprints. If you're a long distance runner, you do marathons. But in chess, you have to do everything. And what I'm trying to do is tailor the game so that I can be a long distance runner and just have long distance chess. And try and avoid as few of the short distance instances as possible. And I think more people than not actually have, more people than not actually have a tendency to being either a positional player or a tactical player, or an intuitive player or a calculative player. Like all of these little, like, these spectrums, right? you will find that a lot of players are not just good at both. They're not just bang smack in the middle. They're also not just good at both. They're actually kind of extreme. And I think it therefore makes sense if you can tailor the game into a way that plays into your extremes, that is going to be beneficial. So I still think the way I'm doing things is right, although I take everything you're saying, Frizz, about the certain actual technical aspects of how I can improve my weaknesses. Ultimately, I'm not going to be able to avoid it at all. This is chess we're talking. We're not, I can't just play on a team. Let's say, like Frizz, if we could play as a tag team and play in some tournaments, and I could basically, be the voice of positional chess and you could be the voice of these kind of crushing blows. Oh, we would make a great team, right? But unfortunately, chess is completely solo. You have to do it all on your own, right? So ultimately, yeah, a lot of this advice is very useful, and I need to try and practice in future. But it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot to actually start doing this properly. Yeah, but I'll keep reminding myself, and I think if we keep doing these streams, and every time I do this wrong, every time I delve deep into a line when I'm not supposed to, every time I'm not calculating forcing lines, if you just shout that out, those 2 points for us on stream, and be like, Michael, stop doing that, do the right thing. Maybe over time, maybe after a year, I could see some change. I feel like your positional level is around 21, 22, but your tactics are 1600. That's so rough. So there's an aspect you can improve faster than the other. But the point is, I disagree. Just because the rating is low doesn't mean that it's easier to improve. In general, yes. But if you've been trying to improve that level and it's still stuck at 16, why is it easier to improve? I could easily say that the 21, 2200 FIDE, maybe that could be 2400. Maybe that's easier for me. I don't think just because the rating is low. 1600 is definitely harsh. Yeah, I don't even know. I think nowadays 1600 would be harsh. 2-3 years ago, not even. I mean, I had some horrific blunders in my over the board chess from making the absolutely god awful tactical decisions. Just because, yeah, my tactics were just absolutely horrendous. I think they are better now, though. But also, okay, I think Frizz is also saying FIDE, right? 1600 FIDE. And ultimately, yeah, I'm playing Turkish juniors who are like tactically better than me, and they're 1600. So, it's like, it's fair in some ways as well, When I was 1600, my tactics were better than him, so that's how I thought about rating. Fair. Yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I think like if when you were 1600, you were relying solely on your tactics, so probably your tactics are like 1800, right? 1800, positional chess 1400, so you level out at 1600. But anyway, it really doesn't matter about the numbers. I really couldn't care less. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's just interesting about, yeah, how certain people are just built different. And that's why chess is just so much fun. It's just so much fun. But okay, by the way, all this information isn't just my own imagination. I watched content of the topic, all the best piece of content I found on the chess world. Okay, awesome. I do like the chess world. And chessfox.com. I've never heard of chessfox.com. I have also asked Masters about it. And to be sure I wasn't saying anything stupid, I even asked GM Ben Feingold. Although his reply wasn't very helpful, I'm not sure. Yeah, 3 words. But anyways, hope that helps. You get through that mental barrier of I can't improve the tactics. And hopefully makes you understand the tactics are actually beautiful, simpler than they seem. Simple, yes. Easy, no. I think that is the answer. Like you can train tactics. The concept of it is very simple. To actually do it, is it easy? Not for everyone. And the mental barrier of I can't improve at tactics. I feel like my barrier isn't I can't improve at tactics. I feel like my barrier is I find tactics much harder to improve at than other things. And I think that is realistic. I think that is fair. But can I still improve? Yes. And actually reading this message and delving into, checking out my games, checking out the analysis, checking out like my comments here, checking out like the differences of these games, doing this whole process, right? This, I think, was valuable. And I took out these really 2 useful points about my calculation, and that's already something good, right? So basically, yeah, firstly, thank you so much, Fritz, for this message, because I mean, this conversation of of tactics is really really refreshing. And okay, let's see. So what this is this a course or is this just an article? I think this is just an article, right? Oh, do we read this now? Maybe I read this later. It's quite late already. Fuck it. Let's just read it now. Improve your calculating ability step by step. Even though calculation of variance is a difficult thing to train, how many books? Okay. Special new opening stage, or played, yada 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 yada. How do you actually find the strongest move? Figure out the best candidate moves. Ideally, right of the opening. Yeah, the trick is not to find all possible calculated moves by common sense. One or two strongest continuations are deeply calculated. That is different to what you're saying, Frizz. Frizz, you're saying like look at every kind of possible move that like makes sense and calculate them shortly, which I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree with you more that that's going to be more beneficial. Quick lines 1-2 moves deep. Eliminate poor variations. Yeah, so maybe that's actually kind of what you're suggesting for us. Like for players who can't just like see the strongest moves. Final candidate moves, calculate appropriate variations, evaluate final positions. Like, yeah. Practical tips. Don't find the move, find a short line. Okay, yeah, I like that. Do not calculate one line deeply until you check all the other candidate moves. So that's actually contradicting a bit what he was saying here about you only need to select the one or two strongest continuations. Maybe it's not necessary to spend 30 minutes and draw endgame positions. Aha, okay, you used this actually in your explanation first. I will not complain about the plagiarism though. It was a good point. Always go simple line. Right. It's a good idea to put yourself in opponent's shoes. Right, yeah, this was the kind of thing you were pointing out about like seeing what makes you feel uncomfortable, right? Like, yeah, the goal of evaluating a position is not all possible lines. Yeah, just find the strongest move, right? So you can save time and cut your calculation, which is actually, I think this Argard book like talks a lot about these techniques of like saving time with calculation, like these kind of like shortcuts to basically being able to find the right move without having to literally calculate everything perfectly. You don't need to calculate 50 moves, yeah. Right. Yeah, most uncomfortable responses, right? This is again what you said first. Always start with calculate force continuations first. Yeah, this is a really big point. Yes, this is very important, which is what I am good at. So yeah, interesting article, very interesting article. And then this Chess Fox, how to get better at tactics. Why solving tons of chess puzzles is not optimal. Interesting. Tactical ideas. List goes on. Interference, decoy, X-ray. Study each unique pattern as a subject. Right, so I've done this in the past as well. With CTR 4.0. Also, Chess Mood has a great course on different tactics, and I was trying to do them one by one and train them like individually. So I have done this as well. Actually, how did you first train your tactics first? How did you make tactics your strongest suit? Did you also study them in terms of motifs, or did you do them just like woodpecker? Only thing I copy and pasted? Sentence was just too good. Fair. What article is this? Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, you might need to mess around with the link, Josh. Yeah, remove a dot. Nice. Study tactical position, expand your tactical vocabulary, develop your tactical awareness, fine tune. Study tactical motifs. Okay. Yeah, this was huge as well. Like there were so many mating nets that I just never knew and never seen. And actually, I was actually studying this this Magnus trainer. Like I learned a lot from that and got like a lot of information that made things a lot easier. Yeah, this chess vocabulary made it a lot better. Yeah, maybe reading all of this carefully just in case I've missed anything here would be good. Yeah, interesting article. Interesting article. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Man, I am. Have I had dinner yet? I think I've had dinner. I don't even remember. I've been working so much today. I've been working so much. But yeah, this stream was amazing. I mean, maybe even I crop this final section on tactics and just make a video out of it. I think it's really interesting. I'll make a note of this. Yeah, really interesting stuff. I also found a great video, maybe the best I've ever found over the last few months, about positional versus tactical play. I'll send it to you. It sounds amazing. Sounds amazing, Pris. Definitely send it to me. I have a friend of mine, who's like around 2100, who made a really good point, because he said that when he was growing up, he always viewed himself as a positional player and kind of frowned upon these kind of like tactical players. But he realized for himself that basically there's no such thing. In chess, you just need both, and both play into each other's hands, and you just need to be strong at both. And he has a point. He has a point. But I still think there is still ways in which you can like emphasize one more than the other. The first thing I learned was checks, captures, threats. Yeah. Honestly, that's a great start, and I wish I had that start. But what to do? What to do? I mean, all you can do is try and fix things moving forward, improve your future. Nothing you can do about the past. And on that note, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. So yeah, really great stream. Okay, I don't even know how many hours we streamed in the end, but this was very fun. And I'm glad to see Frizz and Josh staying until the end and you know, joining in for all this discussion. I think it's really interesting. I really do believe both you and I, Michael, are capable of being universal players based on my instinct only. I fundamentally disagree about myself, at least. Maybe you're different. I don't know, you better than you probably know yourself, and I also feel like you haven't had enough experience to know definitively yet one way or the other, and I also don't know one way or another. But for me, I've had phases of my chess career that I've put so much work into kind of different kind of aspects and styles, but I really feel like universal chess is not for me, at least not without huge amounts of sacrifice that I'm not willing to put in. So maybe this is like a limiting factor that I would need to clarify. But yeah, I think there is a level of sacrifice that would be needed to become a universal player, which I simply cannot. And it also might be so sacrificial to the point where it's being unrealistic. Like I, let's say, have to train all day, every day. I have no work, I have no life, I have no nothing. I just train to be the universal player. Maybe then I can. But realistically, I'm probably jumping off a bridge 2 years in because I hate my life so much, right? So, like, I think there are limits. I think there are serious limits, and I don't think these limits should be underestimated. So, yeah, I think universal chess is not my way. It's also not the way for me in terms of being a fulfilled and happy player. I found that, like, playing towards my strengths and style, I'm such a happier player right now than I was, like, a few years ago when I was really trying to, like, push for GM, in to be quite frank. Like, I was trying to play universal chess. I was trying to play the best chess. I was really trying to play the best chess I possibly could and, give myself the chance of being a GM. But it's not for me. It's not for me. And yeah. I will think on this premise more when I have more free time. Yeah. Like it's definitely yeah, an interesting topic, but definitely needs some reflection. As I said, maybe it's just destined to be the next Karpov. I don't remember you saying that, Frizz. That's a very great compliment. Yeah, honestly, like maybe not Karpov, but maybe like Keith Arkle or something. Like I think Keith Arkle is like the best example of showing that playing into a style is something legit, right? Keith Arkle plays the same exact style, same exact positions for the last 50 years and has become a GM as a result, right? I think it's doable. I think it's really doable. Of course, he plays more universally than I do, right? He's still playing correct openings because he realizes that he can't just play, dubious openings for the sake of stylistic preference, right? He's still playing correct chess because he needs to be a GM. But okay, the fact that he's managed to make GM and still play mostly towards his style is definitely something to be said for. Like if he played in a completely different style, I am 100% sure he would have capped it like 22, 23, 100. He wouldn't have made it GM. So there is evidence. There is evidence. A good thing to think about is that you found bishop takes d6 and instantly went on the wrong road. So to me, I feel like maybe that instance is where like I could have done better at looking at the forcing lines more. I kind of went down the wrong forcing line. And that's also the problem with these kind of critical positions, that there are many, many forcing lines, right? The nice thing about chess is that you can tailor it how you like exactly. And that's why chess is such a beautiful game. There's so many ways you can play it. And yeah, I really love it. I really love it. And yeah, on that note, I think we really will call it a day there. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. We ended up going past midnight. Literally, who cares? It was a great stream. Thank you guys all for watching. And yeah, I guess I'll see you tomorrow for some more training and hopefully some more YouTube. Okay, adios guys. Have a good night.